Gaga says ghosts live in the attic. She calls them Rawhead and Bloody Bones. Says they watch children through cracks in the floor, waiting. According to Gaga, if you listen close enough at night, you can hear Bloody Bones rattle and moan. I've heard her tell the story of little Johnny Jones at least 1,000,000 times. One cold, dark night, everybody asleep, Rawhead and Bloody Bones come creeping down the stairs, drag little Johnny out of bed. For Sess and his mama, they cut off his head. Other mama says, "There's no such thing as ghosts." Says Gaga just makes that up to keep us children in line. I sure hope Other Mama's right. Life can be scary enough. I'm sorry to say that Saturday nights at our house have sometimes been just as terrifying as some of Gaga's ghost stories. Daddy works half a day on Saturdays. He drinks the other half. Sometimes he gets mean drunk, punches Mama in the face with his fists, threatens to kill us all. His fits usually start over something silly. For example, ketchup. We're not allowed to talk when Daddy's at the table, so that night the only noise was the sound of Daddy pounding the bottom of the ketchup bottle with the palm of his hand. When no more ketchup comes out, he suddenly starts screaming, "What in the goddamn hell do I work for?" He glares at Mama. Everybody at the table freezes. We know better than to answer him. "Shit a fucking brick," he goes on. "Can't even get a goddamn decent supper. God damn it to hell." "DW," Mama begins in a soft, soothing voice. "Ah, shut up," he screams. With a flick of his wrist, he hurls the bottle across the room. We hear a loud crash as it smashes against the kitchen wall and sends bits of glass and flecks of ketchup flying. Daddy shoves the table away, causing even the dishes to jump, and stomps out of the kitchen. At first, nobody moves. Minutes later, we hear the tires squeal as he backs out of the driveway. Because of Daddy, I came to dread Saturdays worse than black draught, the nasty medicine Other Mama forces me to swallow because I refuse to eat prunes. Sundays could be boring, but I didn't mind much because Saturday was over and we were still alive. My big sister Rosebud married a Marine named Richie. When she became pregnant, he panicked and signed up for another year in the Marine Corps and was sent to Japan. Rosebud cried like her heart was broken. Meanwhile, Other Mama said, "Rosebud, you are lucky to be rid of that rotter." Other Mama didn't like Richie because he drank, cursed, and used the Lord's name in vain. He was also a Yankee. Sometimes Rosebud would grab my hand and hold it against her belly so I could feel the baby kick. I hoped the baby would be a girl, somebody I could play with. She was born on Mother's Day in 1956 and named Chanel, after a perfume that Richie had given Rosebud. Chanel was so much fun, she could pee and cry like a Tiny Tears doll. When I talked to her, she would coo back. Chanel knew who I was. I could tell. To everybody's surprise and disappointment, when Chanel was 8 months old, Rosebud rented a house about 3 miles away on Sugar Sweet Road. Mama begged her to wait. We knew it was Richie's idea. Rosebud argued that he'd be coming home soon and they needed their own place to live. It was a fairly new brick house. The walls had just been painted. Rosebud returned to supervising the late shift at the phone company, and Other Mama moved in with her to take care of Chanel. Other Mama took me with them, so she wouldn't be by herself in the house at night with the baby. Although my prayer to get away from Daddy had finally been answered, I felt sad to leave Mama. I worried about her being alone with him. With no witnesses, Daddy could kill her and call it an accident. The arrangement worked out fine because Other Mama spent all her time fussing over the house and Chanel, which meant she had little time to fuss at me. As for Rosebud, we rarely got into it because she'd gone to work by the time I got home from school. Every afternoon I played with Chanel, and after she was put to bed, I did my homework. Most of the time it was peaceful, and I came to enjoy the weekends, even Saturdays. The Richie I remembered was kind of wild and kind of sweet. I had a crush on him. He acted crazy about Rosebud, but after Richie went to Japan, he just acted crazy. I knew life would be different once Richie returned from Japan, but I had no idea just how hard it would be. Everybody dreaded his return except Rosebud. The sight of beer cans scattered around the couch in the living room and Richie's ashtray overflowing with cigarette butts reminded me of Daddy's chair at home and made me feel queasy. The wine-colored couch that Rosebud bought second-hand was in good shape. I'd never put my feet on it. Richie and Rosebud both have their feet up on the couch today. The last time I looked, Rosebud was still sitting on his lap, and she was still in her powder-pink baby doll pajamas. At least she was wearing a robe. I go out to the backyard to play with Rosebud's Cocker Spaniel, No-Go. I'm riding an old broom around the yard, pretending to be a witch. No-Go chases me around and around. It's a stupid game, but it's fun. I need to use the bathroom, so I stop playing and go inside. Other Mama's washing dishes. Tiptoe, she whispers as I walk by. Chanel is taking a nap. I close the bathroom door and fasten the chain lock. This is my favorite room in the house. Since Richie's return, his belongings are scattered everywhere, but the bathroom still looks the same. White lace curtains hang at the window, the green tiles that Rosebud polished to a shine glisten in the afternoon light, and a family of pink swan decals swim across the tiles above the tub. I don't know exactly how long I've been sitting here before I realize I'm staring at red splotches in my panties. It's blood, all right. The sight of it always leaves me weak. Did I hurt myself somehow? Had I fallen on that broomstick? No, I didn't fall. When Rosebud got pregnant and I started asking what Mama considered to be too many questions, Mama sent off for what every young woman should know, a booklet about the facts of life. I read it from cover to cover. I began to feel dizzy and sweaty. For years, I've listened to Mama and Other Mama gossip about pregnancies and operations. Our neighbor, Mrs. Threet, swore she was wide awake when the surgeon yanked out her gallbladder. Other mamas survived 10 major operations for what they called adhesions. The doctors would slice her open like a watermelon, cut her intestines apart, and while she lay on the operating table under the knife, oxygen would cause her intestines to slowly grow back together. It was only a matter of time before they'd have to open her up and cut her apart again. If only Mama were here. I don't want to call Other Mama, but I have no choice. She'll be mad if my calling wakes up Chanel, but what else can I do? I'm bleeding. I'd get up and go to her, but I'm afraid to move. I open the door and call softly, Other Mama. I have to call several times. Other Mama. Other Mama. Finally, I know she's on her way because the whole house shakes when she walks through it. Look, I say. She stoops over and studies the stains in my panties like a scientist might study a specimen. Did you hurt yourself? She asks. No. Oh, you're too young to menstruate, she says. Menstruate, I say, ignoring the rule never to correct her. I'm 13. Other Mama continues to shake her head from side to side. Oh, Lord, you're too young for this, she says. Are you cramping? No. The expression on Other Mama's face makes me angry. The booklet, What Every Young Woman Should Know, describes menstruation as the beginning of womanhood, not the end of the world. Does Rosebud have any Kotex? I ask. I think I saw a box in her closet. Other Mama says she'll check. Other Mama, I whisper as she backs out the door. Please don't tell Rosebud. My sister is a terrible tease and loves nothing more than to see me blush. I can just hear what she'd say. Niki's got the pip, Niki's got the pip. Other Mama's gone a long time. Is something wrong? Has she forgotten? I lean up and over towards the door as far as I can without falling off the toilet, straining to hear what's going on outside. But I don't hear a sound. Surely Other Mama knows that either Rosebud or Richie might have to use the bathroom soon. What does she expect me to do? At last, I hear heavy footsteps. I open the door. I couldn't find any, Other Mama says. You'll have to use this. Is that a pillowcase? I ask. It's all I could find. How am I supposed to wear this? I'm close to tears. Pin it on. As Other Mama hands me the wad of white cloth and 2 large safety pins with bright yellow ducks for clasps, I suddenly realize what I'm holding. You want me to wear this? Just until your mother comes. I'm crying now. Other Mama, my maternal grandmother, has no patience for tears. I have to wear one of Chanel's diapers. Well, I won't. Well, then sit here, you little ingrate, Other Mama says. I've done what I can for you. I have a meal to cook. The house shakes as she walks back to the kitchen. I open one of the safety pins. I've been diapering Chanel ever since Rosebud brought her home from the hospital. And I've never once stuck myself, or her. But then I've never tried to shove a pin through a diaper folded this thick. My fingers feel stiff and a little shaky. Now that I'm a woman, maybe I've got arthritis like other mama. I'm crying so hard that the yellow ducks on the safety pins could be swimming in a pond. What every young woman should know puts swimming on the list of the activities you can do when you have your period. But I can't understand that. Even if I knew how to swim, a bloody sanitary pad could turn the water red as fast as Jesus turned it into wine. Everyone would know I'm having my period. My face burns just thinking about it. I walk slowly and carefully down the hall to the kitchen toward the aroma of other mama's fried chicken. With every step, the diaper between my legs rubs against my thighs, and I feel a stinging sensation. I couldn't help but notice that the blood, or my menstrual flow, as the booklet calls it, has an odor. I wonder if other people will be able to smell it. I guess that's why women need to take a douche. Maybe I need to take one. Other mama's standing at the stove as I shuffle past. "Sit down," she says. "You look pale." I ease myself down in a chair at the kitchen table. Just as I sit, I think I feel a warm gush from down there. "Sip this," Other Mama says, pouring a Dr. Pepper over a glass of ice cubes. "My head hurts. We have aspirin." What every young woman should know recommends Midol. "Well, we don't have any. Take these." I take 2 aspirin tablets from Mother Mama's palm. Chanel's awake. I can hear her gurgling and cooing. Any other time, I would run to the bedroom and scoop her up out of the crib to play, but right now I have no desire to move. Other Mama looks at me with a steady gaze. "If I put Chanel down in the playpen, do you think you could sit and watch her for a while, at least until dinner's ready?" I nodded, returning her steady gaze. Other Mama doesn't trust just anybody to watch Chanel. She's never trusted Rosebud. She hardly ever lets Rosebud hold her. Sometimes they fight over Chanel. Other Mama always wins. Maybe that's why Chanel doesn't know Rosebud very well. I wish Rosebud would stand up for herself, not act so helpless. And I wish Rosebud would show more interest in Chanel. She's her baby.
Eta. Mama. Eta. Baby. Sit.
I pick up the rubber doll that Chanel tosses out of her playpen. She tosses it out again. Just then, I think I feel another warm gush between my legs. Richie is telling Rosebud about geisha girls in Japan. 4 of them, scrubbing and rubbing while I'm on my back. Now that I'm in the room, he starts talking to me too. I look at Richie, but only pretend to listen. Richie thinks I like him, but I don't like him anymore. He doesn't even look the same. When he left, he had curly blonde hair, not a crew cut. Other Mama would never approve of women bathing men. She wouldn't approve of Richie talking about it either, and Rosebud knows that. So far, Other Mama and Richie have stayed out of each other's way. When Richie stops talking to light another cigarette, I point to a tiny deck of cards with Japanese lettering. "What's that for?" I ask. "Poker," Richie says. "I'll teach you how to play." The last thing in the whole world I would ever want to do is play poker. Other Mama says it's a sin. The cards look nasty, like they've been held in a lot of sweaty hands. Chanel tosses the doll out again. She seems fussy. She's tired of this game. She likes to squeal, and today she seems to be squealing more than usual. Every time she squeals, Richie raises his voice and talks louder. I wish he would shut up. I don't remember him talking so much. Neither one of them is paying any attention to Chanel. Rosebud did wave to her and say, "Hi, Pumpkin," but Richie hasn't looked her way. I want to get up and go see if I'm bleeding, but I know I have to stay with Chanel. Suddenly, Chanel's lower lip begins to quiver. "Look," I say. I squeeze the doll to make it squeak. But she doesn't care. Chanel wants out of the playpen. Her eyes fill up with tears, and she begins to whimper. "Hush," Richie says. "She just wants out," I say. "She's not coming out," he says. "She's got to learn discipline." "She's only a year old," I say, trying to make it a joke. "She's got to learn who's boss," Richie says. I glance at Rosebud, but she looks away. Chanel pulls herself to her feet and silently pleads with her eyes for me to pick her up. I begin to sing. "Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a Sing with me," I urge Chanel. "Mary had a little lamb." Sometimes Chanel babbles along when I sing to her, but today she's not in the mood. She just wants out of the playpen. Nothing I do seems to hold her attention. Patty cake, I begin. Chanel lets out a howl. "Shut up," Richie yells. He opens another can of beer. He's been drinking all morning. Rosebud looks at me as if she expects me to do something. I wish Rosebud would get up off the couch and put some clothes on, help Other Mama in the kitchen, take care of Chanel, do something. "Let me take her out," I say, standing up. I've forgotten about my condition. For a moment, Chanel is silent. She looks at me, hopefully. "God damn it! Leave her be," Richie says. I glance at Rosebud, hoping she'll speak up. I wonder if she's drunk. Still standing, I say, "I'm taking her out for just a minute." "Sit down," Richie says. Reluctantly, I obey. "Please don't cry," I beg Chanel silently. "Please don't cry." As I sit back on my knees, I experience another warm sensation between my legs. If only Mama would get here. Maybe she can't come. Daddy just might be too drunk to drive her over. Chanel is crying, real tears now, and Other Mama's going to be mad at me. Richie jumps up from the couch and comes to the playpen. For a moment, I'm relieved. I think he's going to pick up Chanel and play with her. Just as Other Mama walks to the living room door to see what's going on, Richie jerks Chanel up by her arm. For several seconds she dangles in midair. Then he swats her bottom as hard as he can with the other hand. The smack of his open hand is so loud it echoes through the room. He drops Chanel back in the playpen with a thud. For a moment, there is complete silence. The surprise of the blow caused Chanel to lose her breath. I feel as if I've lost mine too. Rosebud starts to get up, but Richie grabs her arm. "Sit," he says, like he's training a dog. "God Almighty, what did you do? What have you done?" Other Mama demands, reaching down into the playpen. "Leave her alone," Richie yells. Chanel gets her breath and lets out a wail. Ignoring Richie, Other Mama lifts Chanel, cradles her over her shoulder, and huffs out of the room. "She's going to learn discipline," Richie says. He takes a noisy swig of beer. I'm afraid to look at him or Rosebud. Paralyzed, I stare at the floor and wish Mama would come. The next thing I remember is Other Mama standing in the doorway holding Chanel. She has taken Chanel's diaper off to show what Richie has done. "Look at this child's behind," Other Mama says in a trembling voice. "Rosebud, look what your husband has done." Then she says to Richie, "May God forgive you for hitting this innocent child." Richie's huge handprint across Chanel's butt is bright red. It hurts to look at it. Certain she's made her point, Other Mama stalks out with Chanel. "She'll live," Richie laughs. I wish Rosebud would say something. How could she just sit there like a dummy and let him do that, I wonder? I want to kill Richie. Bash his brains out, as my daddy would say. I want to kill Rosebud, too. It's all I can do to keep the way I feel from showing on my face. But I must. If Richie knew how much I hate him right now, no doubt he'd punish me by never allowing me near Chanel. What could be keeping Mama? Damn it! Maybe if she'd been here, none of this would have happened. I don't feel like moving my body, but I force myself to get up. I'm sure Rosebud and Richie are watching me, so I move as if everything is fine. It has occurred to me that I should check again to see how much I've bled, but I can't bring myself to look. Other Mama is sitting on the side of the bed in Rosebud's room, holding Chanel. Other Mama looks old and tired. "Would you like for me to watch Chanel so you can finish in the kitchen?" I ask. "Do you feel up to it?" I hold out my arms to Chanel. She leans towards me, and Other Mama passes her over like she's passing a tray of fine china. I rest her on my hip. Chanel snuggles up against me. My nose itches. Sometimes baby powder makes me sneeze. Other Mama goes back to the kitchen. I'm worried that Chanel might start crying again. So, like Nancy Drew, girl detective, solving one of her cases, I begin to think of a plan. It's simple, but it might work. Every minute counts. With Chanel on my hip, I walk out to the living room, smile at Richie like I've seen Rosebud do, and say in my sweetest voice, "I'm going to take Chanel out for a walk until dinner's ready. It's nice out, okay?" I know he hears me, but he doesn't answer. He must be very drunk. Richie winks at Rosebud, shrugs, opens 2 new cans of beer, and hands one to her as if nothing's ever happened. I leave the room as fast as I can to get my jacket and a sweater for Chanel, and we slip out the back door. My spine tingles as if I'm being watched. I can't believe I have Chanel. I could run away with her, but without any money, where would we go? Chanel's head rests on my shoulder. I can feel her small heart beating against my chest. She seems tired, but I know she can't be. She had a nap. Maybe she's in shock. Nobody ever hit her before. Maybe her behind hurts too. I love you, I say. I move slowly around to the front yard and walk down the driveway to get away from the house. I want to get beyond the range of the picture window in the living room so Richie can't see us. It hurts to walk because my thighs have been rubbed raw, but I don't want Chanel to know I'm in pain. Other mama always says, you have to rise above adversity, set an example for others. Mr. Drake and his mother live across the street. His house is surrounded by flowers and oak trees. Chanel, look at the trees, I say in a loud voice as if everything is fine. They look like soldiers standing guard. Chanel sighs, lifts her head from my shoulder. Mam and Papa will be here soon, I tell her. Then, remembering Daddy's probably been drinking, I silently ask God to keep Mama safe. My brother Ben swears Daddy's car drives itself home when Daddy's had too much to drink. But I doubt Daddy's car knows its way to Rosebud's. When we reach the end of the driveway, I glance over my shoulder to make sure Richie hasn't followed us. Chanel, I whisper, listen, somehow, you and me, we're going to get away from here. Chanel points her finger in the direction of the trees. Buh, she says. Yes, I say in a loud voice, that's a tree. If I knew Mr. Drake and his mother well enough, I'd knock on their door, ask to use the phone. But they'd hear me, and soon people would know our business. Mama would be furious. Not that we know the neighbors here. Rosebud is never home to meet them, and other mama is always too busy. Since the day we moved in, no one has ever come to visit or to even borrow a cup of sugar. The police will help us, I assure Chanel. They stopped Daddy from shooting Rosebud, your mother. Mama sneaked out and ran to Mrs. Hill's house and called the police. They came in quick and took Daddy to jail. They'll take Richie to jail too. I begin walking in the direction of the road. Mama always tells me not to talk to strangers or ever get in a car with anyone. She'd have a stroke if she thought I hitchhiked anywhere, and she'd drop dead for sure to know I took Chanel with me. The police station is at least 6 miles away, so I'll have to hitch a ride. Sugar Sweet Road isn't busy, but cars do pass, often using it as a shortcut to the interstate. Before I can shift Chanel, I hold out my thumb as a red pickup truck whizzes past. We'll get the next one, I say. Chanel is getting restless. She might be hungry. Suddenly, I see another car coming. The driver, a man wearing a baseball cap, never even sees us. 2 more cars pass, but those drivers don't even seem to see us either. I can feel a lump rising in my throat. The police will help us, but in the distance, I see another car moving towards us. I extend my arm again and wait. It's moving so slowly, It seems like an eternity has passed before the car gets close enough for me to see that the driver of the dusty blue four-door Chevy has a big dent on his front fender and a passenger in the front seat. This driver stops. My heart is pounding. I try to smile. The gray-haired woman sitting in the passenger seat smiles back and rolls down her window. "Going my way?" she asks. The man behind the wheel leans over her. He has a big grin on his face. "Hey, doll, get in," he shouts, as if we're all deaf. With his hand, he motions for me to get in the back seat. The car reeks of stale cigarettes and beer. "How do you feel?" the woman asks. "Okay," I answer. My eyes are focused on the road ahead as if I'm driving. It's a narrow road, and the car is weaving slightly back and forth. At times, the driver, hunched over the wheel, is dangerously close to crossing over the white line. At last, the driver makes an unsteady left turn, and as the car comes to a full stop in Rosebud's driveway, I breathe a sigh of relief. "Mama," I whisper to the gray-haired lady in the front seat. "I thought you'd never get here. Richie hit Chanel. Shh," she says in a low voice. "We'll talk inside." Then, in a louder voice, she adds, "Don't worry, Niki. I got everything you need. I even brought you some ice cream, your favorite, buttered pecan. You get the grocery bag. It's not heavy. I'll take this precious baby from you. Come to ma'am, darling." Mama reaches out and folds Chanel into her arms. Chanel begins to gurgle and coo. "Who you got there? Who is this?" Sometimes he plays with Chanel, but it's always the same. Daddy drops Mama off for a visit at Rosebud's while he goes to Hattie's Grill, his favorite hangout, to shoot pool and tank up on beer. From the looks of him, he's been there already. As I reach for the bag on the front seat, I feel Daddy's eyes on me. I can't say for sure, but I suspect he wants me to say something nice like, "Hi, Daddy," or at least give him a smile. I suppose it's out of guilt that I say, "Bye, Daddy," over my shoulder. I have to hurry. Chanel's life is at stake. I dash up the front steps and call to Mama, "Wait, don't go in yet. I have to talk to you. Mama, wait."